Buddy, this is our playoff preview edition of the Parma Flyers Blue Line podcast. Today we have obviously Parma's, but Strongsville's own Nolan James with us. What's up, Nolan? How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, Rich, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So today what we're going to do essentially is just preview our game for Sunday, which is at 2:50 at Brunswick Auto Mart Arena against the Strongsville Mustangs. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So what you see here essentially is our standings. We had covered this in the past, but just going to go over it real quick. Obviously, the top four teams made the playoffs. Elyria had 19 points. They were by far the best team in the division this year. The dirtiest, too, I might add.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, Worcester might be up there with them. But behind them is us, obviously, from rags to riches for us this year. Expectations are kind of low, obviously, going into this, especially with our preseason. For us to end up with 11 points is a testament. Any comment on that?
Yeah, it's funny. I remember it was an earlier podcast, and we were talking about you and Patrick were talking about the keys to even just making it to the playoffs, right? And trying to be one of the top four. And I think at that time in the season, in my mind, and again, I'm an optimist, but I wasn't sure what our path to making it into the top four might look like. And looking at us finishing up as the number two ranked team, it's just a testament to the work that the kids put in. It's a testament to the coaching. And frankly, I think us scheduling, games that were not league games early on to kind of give ourselves time to develop and gel as a team. It just all kind of came together. So hopefully we can finish the job, but it starts with this Saturday.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, it's absolutely. I think it was the 5 keys of the season, and it looks like we've checked off most of those boxes, which is a testament to Mike, his coaching staff, and ultimately these children who have kind of outdone it, and it's in a good way. Strongsville's right behind us with 9 points. Obviously, they were 4-5-1, and then the Cleveland Sharks get the tall task going against Elyria. To me, obviously, you can't overlook Strongsville, right? We have this game on Sunday that we have to win, and kind of we'll look at it from that perspective for now. Looking at our MHR ranking, like we do all these podcasts, currently at a 73.18. Records 19-20-2, which, believe me, that was far worse not too long ago. Our goal differential is, 15. I think it was as big as 58 this year. Right. Early on, we were getting tattooed pretty good, but again, we played tougher teams. Our math basically is our strength of schedule, still at a 73.47. So every team that we've played to this point has been within our wheelhouse. And obviously, as the season's gone on, those L's that you see here turn into more W's than anything, which is pretty awesome. And this is not updated with the tournament total. I'm pretty sure our MHR will probably go up after this weekend because we did play some teams, a couple 74s and multiple 73s. So we're ranked 66th. Then we go to Strongsville. They're a 74.15. 19, 15, and 5, 163 goals for, 146 against. Looking at their strength of schedule, they're at a 73.74. So they're playing a little bit down. I also would tend to believe that, our our strength of schedule is more in line. I think they're playing a little bit down compared to us. But we beat them in preseason, 4-3. That was a 1-goal game. We lost to them early in the year, start the season 6-2, and shut them out 4-0. So, Nolan, based off of this data, this information, this will be the 4th time playing them this year. What do you think are the keys to the win for this week?
Sure. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, our kids have to play with confidence, but they can't look past this Strongsville team. The Strongsville team wants it just as much as we do. Defense is certainly the key, right? And I say that, certainly as a goalie dad, and I can certainly appreciate uh, great defense, but um, we'll need to score some goals, but we'll need to protect, right? We don't want to allow easy goals to come in because we missed assignments and those types of things. And our defense has been solid towards the end of the season, and we keep doing what we're doing. I often I look back at some of these games, and I can see, Theo in particular, and not to just call out one kid. I mean, all of our defensemen do a great job, but Theo often ending up on the ice to like chase down a kid, right? Like giving it his last little go. And I think if we as a team, if every skater leaves everything they've got on the ice, we're going to be just fine. So that's key number one. Don't hold back, right? You're on the ice for a short period of time, give it everything you've got, recover, then do it again, right? So that's the thing, right? So the kids know the assignment. This is win or go home time, and I certainly would love to see us continue to play just a little bit more hockey. So we've got to earn that by doing the work over the weekend.
100%. Yeah, the point to the defense is I really do feel like, when Mike made that switch, it was like towards the middle of the year, I guess, when we kind of flipped our defensive pairings around. And I think he played to the strengths of those kids by moving them. I think we play excellent complementary defense to your point. Our defenders, we have some that are very quick that could carry the puck from red line to red line, and then we have others that have excellent puck pressure, excellent passing skills. Everybody has their set of skills and the things that they're really good at. And ultimately, I think when that change was made, we have two defensive pairings that really do complement each other and play for each other. And I think that's one of the things that, really changed. And I don't want to go back on the loss early in the year, but we were a different team. We aren't the team that we are right now. And if anybody in Strongsville thinks that we are that team that you clubbed in November 6-2, you have another thing coming. I think ultimately our team has gotten better, but that 4-0 win in Parma, I just remember it being very suffocating, where we had people on everybody. It was like constant coverage, and things really went our way there, and I think obviously all five players have to play defense. That's another
Absolutely.
thing. It's not
Absolutely.
just the back two, it's all five. So you said it alluded to goalie dad, you know, I don't know if is he lifting some weighted gloves or something like that, to get ready for that Sunday game.
You, yes,
You know,
yes, that's funny. Yeah, so yeah, we put a little sand in his gloves. He's putting them on, walking around the house with them just to get ready, so he has quick hands and he's ready to go.
Rock on.
I Trey and I talked a little bit about the Strongsville game, and the nice thing about him, he's never up, never down. He's excited about the opportunity to play this game, and he knows the importance, can appreciate the importance, but he's not overly, right, like up or down about it one way or the other. He knows that he's got a job to do, and is prepared to get to work, and is excited to have at least one more game with his friends and teammates this year, and is hoping to have an opportunity to play one more after that.
Awesome. So take the dad hat off, right? Take the biggest fan hat off.
Sure.
What are the keys for goaltending purposes? I know we don't really get the goalie's perspective too often on here.
Sure.
So what do you think are the keys to successfully being a goaltender against Strongsville this Sunday?
Absolutely. So I think, for any goaltender, being able to adjust in the game. I mean, there's no telling what this game is going to give you, right? If you compare, the first game we played, not preseason, but the first regular season game we played against Strongsville, I think one kid in particular scored, 3 goals on us in that game, and I think the difference there. Now, certainly, the next time we played Strongsville, we collectively were a different team. But one thing, I used to talk to Trey about this is making those in-game adjustments, right? Noticing that one kid that's going to do a lot of things, and generally at this age, kids develop a tendency, they prefer to shoot at a certain point in the net, a certain spot in the net. They either are dekers or not dekers, right? Like, so picking up on those tendencies that, the kids that are going to be your primary scorers or primary scoring threats, and then making those adjustments early on are going to be key. Again, taking the goalie dad hat off, just being in the moment and knowing that, you've practiced a ton. He's been playing hockey and playing goalie for, a number of years now, has seen a lot of shots. He's picking up on certain tendencies or tells that skaters are, giving him when they're on the rush, right? And even picking up on when, the play's setting itself up for a pass and a one-timer, right? So just trying to remember to just do your best to be in position to block those shots. It's not always going to go the way we want it to. We hope it will. But then if it does not, being able to bounce back and make that next stop. So really excited to watch him in this game. Really excited to watch this team in this game. But I think the biggest thing is being able to make those in-game adjustments. The other thing too, the unfortunate part about being a goalie is you're on that island, right? So you don't get, every minute or so to get some coaching, right? Like for your coach to say, hey, maybe work on this. So you've got to kind of coach yourself up. So there's some things we talk about before the game. Obviously, he gets some coaching in between periods, but you kind of have to coach yourself up during the game and have a couple of things to think about. I think we'll probably spend a little bit of time watching some footage of prior Strongsville games and just to kind of prepare so he gets like, a feel for, who's doing what or who might do what. But aside from that, just, respond to what the game will give you, right? And I think he's excited and ready for it.
Well, that's a great dissection there. I followed up with this. It's like, we were standing behind that high school game. It was like right before our championship game this past weekend here in Buffalo. And communication between the goalie, his defenders, and the other players around. Do you see that type of communication currently? And if so, what are the types of things that are said?
Absolutely. So some of the biggest things, Trey, because he's got some big defenders, sometimes his defenders are screening him, right? So if he can't see, he lets, his defenders know, hey, I can't see, right? That's the biggest thing. But a lot of that, these guys have been playing together, for a while now, and some of the defenders he's been playing with, this is his second season playing with them. So, we don't see a lot of that. Most of the communication is just ultimately initiated by his defenseman, just to kind of like make sure he's good, because he doesn't get that like get back on the bench and talk to your teammates in between games. So you'll see kind of like a fist bump here and there, just like the defenseman kind of checking in with him. And, he'll kind of talk about some of the things he sees, right? But he's not overly vocal. That's just not his style. He's just focused on, doing his job and making the stop. But if he sees something, he knows it is his place to kind of call it out and let his teammates know, what needs to be done.
Okay. Well, I like that. Obviously it's keeping up with that, right? And I think as they get older, that that's going to be a topic that obviously being vocal and letting people know, either it's like this guy does this move, etc. I think as the kids get older, I think we'll see that. So you had made mention earlier, and then we'll probably wrap up here in a second. It made mention the 5 keys to the season, right? So I wanted to bring that back.
Sure.
Number 1 was defense and goalie play.
Yep.
Number 2, zone entry and exit.
Yep.
Number 3, passing development. Number 4, trusting each other. And number 5 was hustle.
Yes. Yes.
And here we sit, second in the division, playing in a semifinal on Sunday for a championship. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, those 5 keys were back in October when we started this. I think we checked all the boxes. What do you think?
I agree. I think we definitely checked all the boxes. And if I could just pick, one, I know I led with defense, but the overarching umbrella here is you got to trust each other, because everything comes from there, right? You make the pass, you got to trust your teammate's going to catch it. And then, guess what? Catch that pass so your teammate keeps trusting you, right? Everyone just needs to do their job. I have no criticisms of any of our players not hustling. There, and I think early in the season, our kids just weren't in shape, right?
That's
and now
true
they're in shape. Mike and his team do a really good job. We see them doing the conditioning work, working it into practices. These guys keep moving, and it's paying off. So, it's they've got to go into this, look each other in the eyes, and ask each other, how much do you want this one, right? It's one game. How much do you want this one? And I trust you that you're going to do your job. You trust me that I'm going to do my job. Let's go out and get this win, right? Let's work together as a team. Let's everyone do our jobs. We're going to hustle. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play smart hockey. And listen, if we do those 5 things, I really like our chances.
Yeah, sky's the limit, right?
Absolutely.
So obviously, 1 game Sunday. Prediction.
Yeah, so 1 game Sunday. It's I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I'm predicting a Parma win. I would say 2-1 Parma.
Ooh.
That's I think here's the
I don't know if my heart can handle that, dude.
Here's why. So it's a home game for Strongsville. It just is what it is. This is their home ice. Everything is on the line. They are going to throw some stuff at us that we have not seen. The other, wild card here is just our kids maintaining their composure. That's if we don't maintain our composure, they can sneak in that 1 goal that I'm giving them, right? I'm giving them 1 goal, and they're not gonna give up 4 easily like they did before. Not that those were easy goals in the one before, but they know what's on the line. This is not going to be easy. We've got to do our part, and yes, be prepared. Be prepared. Maybe go easy on those caffeine drinks, because your heart won't be able to take this one, because it is going to be a nail biter to the very end. And but yeah, 2-1 Flyers. That's what I'm calling it. And I think that battle, not to look too far ahead, will bode well for us being prepared for Elyria, a fight against Elyria. And again, I don't want to look past Elyria and Brooklyn, but look, Elyria is a tough team. So I think that we do what we need to do against Strongsville. We'll earn a shot to take this year's championship from Elyria. So
that would be one heck of a feat. In closing, 4 tournaments, 2 championships, 2 runners-up. Team is galvanized. I predict a Parma win. And I think, hopefully it ends up that way, and we'll be doing another one of these podcasts. So I wanted to say thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Appreciate your insight. Obviously, from a goalie's perspective, all jokes aside, it's pretty fantastic to be able to continue to do this. And thank you to the families that continue to watch out there and continue to support this. So with that, all I got left is go Flyers.
Go Flyers. Thank you so much. Go Flyers.
We came in the car, cold as the chrome, left the rink riding mustangs, took 'em back home. Lights got quiet, scoreboard stone for nothing final. Yeah, welcome to the zone, we hit hard to skate fast. Pressure all night, Mustangs fell apart when the flies took flight. 0 on the board, yeah, we shut the door tight. Palmer flies, Pee-wee 2, 4 zip, good night.